Right now, somewhere in your world, someone with less insight, less depth, and less awareness than you is making decisions that shape outcomes, promotions, respect, authority. They're moving forward. And you're still wondering why raw intelligence hasn't translated into real leverage. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never accept. You're not losing because you lack intelligence. You're losing because you're playing the wrong game. You were taught that intelligence means explaining yourself clearly, proving your ideas with logic, winning through facts. But while you're busy explaining, someone quieter is watching. While you're justifying, they're mapping the room. While you're talking, they're positioning. And they win, not because they're smarter, but because they're strategic. This isn't luck. It isn't charisma. It's control. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli exposed a brutal reality most people still refuse to face. Intelligence without influence is invisible. You can be brilliant and still ignored. You can be capable and still replaced. Power doesn't come from what you know, it comes from how you move. Today, I'm breaking down 7 dark lessons that convert intelligence into influence. They aren't polite. They aren't comforting. But they work. If you're tired of being overlooked, tired of explaining yourself, tired of watching less capable people rise above you, then this is where things change. It's time to stop explaining and start strategizing. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my strategy. Lesson 1, stop explaining. Start observing. Every unnecessary explanation weakens you. You think you're being clear. You think you're being reasonable. But what you're really doing is revealing your internal wiring. Your fears. Your logic. Your emotional triggers. The moment people understand how you think, they can maneuver around you. Smart people explain. Powerful people observe. Look at any room where decisions actually happen. The person in control isn't the one speaking the most. It isn't the one presenting slides or defending ideas. It's the one asking selective questions. The one watching reactions. The one who speaks last, if at all. While others perform, they collect intelligence. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. Strength without awareness is vulnerable. Awareness without restraint is exposed. True power comes from knowing when not to speak. The most dangerous minds don't take notes on paper. They read posture. They notice hesitation. They track who interrupts whom, who seeks approval, who agrees too quickly. That's leverage. Most people enter conversations desperate to be heard. You enter to understand. Because once you understand patterns, insecurities, motivations, pressure points, you don't need to argue. You already know how to move. Here's a simple test. Next time you're in a group, say almost nothing at first. Watch who dominates. Watch who defers. Watch where attention flows when something important is said. Power reveals itself quietly. The less you speak, the harder you are to read. The harder you are to read, the harder you are to control. People can't manipulate what they don't understand. So when someone asks why you did something, resist the urge to explain. Offer just enough, or nothing at all. Notice how the dynamic shifts. They start guessing. They hesitate. And hesitation means you're in control. When you stop explaining, challenges decrease. Opposition weakens. Because without insight into your reasoning, people have nothing to attack. Let them wonder. Write the affirmation in the comments. I observe. I don't explain. Lesson 2: The power of delayed reactions. Let me ask you something honestly. When someone disrespects you, questions you, tries to provoke you, what's the instinct? To respond immediately. To defend yourself. To correct them. To prove something. And that instinct is exactly what makes most people weak. Immediate reactions don't signal strength, they signal emotional control by others. Anyone who can trigger you on demand already has leverage over you. Emotional people react instantly. Strategic people pause. That pause, even a few seconds, is where power lives. Because the first person to react is always operating from emotion, not intention. And emotion clouds judgment. It makes you say too much, reveal too much, and commit too early. Once your emotions are visible, your position is compromised. Machiavelli understood this well. Not every attack deserves a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. And timing matters more than force. When you delay your reaction, something interesting happens. People become uncomfortable. They expect anger. They expect defense. They expect noise. When they get silence instead, their confidence collapses. They start asking themselves, did I overstep? Why aren't they reacting? What are they planning? Suddenly, they're unsettled, not you. This shift is subtle, but devastating. Think about it in real situations. An emotional person receives a disrespectful message and fires back within minutes. Now they're trapped in a back and forth that makes them look reactive and small. A strategic person reads it, then closes the laptop. They think. They wait. They decide when and how, or if they'll respond. Maybe it's later. Maybe it's in person. Maybe it never comes. But whatever happens, it's intentional. Delayed reactions communicate status. They say, I'm not ruled by impulses. I move on my own timeline. Your urgency does not control me. People may not like this, but they respect it. And respect matters more than approval. Next time someone tries to get under your skin, don't rush to answer. Don't justify. Don't explain. Breathe. Hold eye contact if you're face to face. Let the silence stretch. Silence forces people to confront themselves. Then, when you choose, calmly, precisely, make your move. That delay isn't weakness. It's dominance. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I respond when I'm ready. Lesson 3: Strategic listening creates control. Here's a reality most people never wake up to. Everyone is desperate to talk about themselves. Their struggles. Their ambitions. Their opinions. Their frustrations. And while they're talking, they're exposing everything. Their insecurities. Their desires. Their fears. Their blind spots. All of it is there, if you're quiet enough to notice. Most people don't listen. They wait. They nod while mentally preparing their next line. They're not absorbing information, they're reloading. Strategic listening is different. It's not passive. It's intentional. You're not listening to respond, you're listening to collect intelligence. Machiavelli understood this well. People show the world a mask, but their words always betray what's underneath. The more someone talks, the more they reveal. The more they reveal, the more predictable they become. When you speak too much, you hand people leverage. When you listen deeply, you take it. Strategic listening means paying attention to what isn't said. Watch their face when certain topics come up. Notice where their energy shifts. Track when they avoid questions, change subjects, or become defensive. Those reactions matter more than their words. Here's what happens when you listen correctly. You ask one simple question, then another. Then you stop. You don't interrupt. You don't relate it back to yourself. You don't try to impress. You let silence do the work. People hate silence. So they fill it. And in doing so, they reveal things they never planned to share, things they wouldn't tell most people. Soon, you understand them better than they understand themselves. That's not manipulation. That's awareness. And awareness is influence. Influence isn't about forcing people. It's about aligning with their psychology so precisely that resistance disappears. If you know someone fears looking weak, you never challenge them directly. You frame ideas in a way that protects their image. If you know someone values loyalty, you don't appeal to logic, you appeal to belonging. If you know someone is insecure about their intelligence, you don't outshine them, you ask for their opinion. You make them feel strong, competent, respected. That's strategic listening. You're building a psychological map, quietly, patiently. And once you have that map, every word you speak carries weight. So talk less. Ask more. Let people reveal themselves. Because the one who listens controls the direction of the conversation, and eventually, the outcome. Write this affirmation in the comments. I listen to understand, not to impress. Lesson 4, Master Energetic Distance. Have you ever met someone who's calm, friendly, present, yet impossible to pull into chaos? They're not cold. They're not rude. But there's a clear line you can feel, even if it's never spoken. That distance isn't accidental. It's power. Most people misunderstand boundaries. They think boundaries are loud declarations. Don't disrespect me. Don't waste my time. Don't cross this line. But real boundaries aren't announced. They're felt. Machiavelli understood this deeply. If you cannot command respect, you must at least command space. Energetic distance means you are present without being entangled. Engaged without being absorbed. Calm without being passive. Most people are emotional sponges. Someone complains, they absorb it. Someone panics, they panic. Someone starts drama, they get pulled in. That makes them predictable. And predictability is weakness. When you maintain energetic distance, you become untouchable. You listen, but you don't drown in their emotions. You acknowledge, but you don't adopt their stress. You stay centered while others spiral. And people feel that. Here's what this looks like in real life. Someone vents to you, angry and frustrated. They want you emotionally aligned with them. They want validation. They want you in the storm. Most people jump in. That's crazy. I'd be furious. You're right to feel that way. Now they're emotionally invested and trapped. But someone with energetic distance responds differently. That sounds frustrating. What do you plan to do about it? Same presence. Same respect. Different control. You didn't absorb their emotion. You redirected responsibility back to them. That subtle shift changes everything. People realize they can't dump their chaos on you. They can't manipulate you with emotion. They can't pull you off center. And that creates respect. Not loud dominance, quiet authority. Think about the people you respect most. They don't get rattled. They don't chase drama. They don't emotionally overreact. They stay grounded no matter what's happening around them. That's energetic distance. You can still be kind. You can still be supportive. But you don't sacrifice your internal stability for anyone. Your calm becomes the strongest presence in the room. Practice this. Be warm, but not endlessly available. Be helpful, but not at the cost of your peace. Be present while protecting your center. People will adjust without you saying a word. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My peace is protected. Lesson 5. Let your standards speak without words. One of the weakest things you can do is announce your standards. I don't tolerate disrespect. I value loyalty. I expect honesty. It sounds strong, but it isn't. Because people don't respect what you say. They respect what you enforce. Machiavelli understood this clearly. People judge with their eyes far more than with their ears. Words are cheap. Behavior is expensive. Real standards are never explained. They're demonstrated. Most people think boundaries require confrontation. They think strength looks like speeches, warnings, and ultimatums. It doesn't. Real boundaries are quiet. Someone disrespects you? You don't argue. You don't lecture. You reduce access. Someone wastes your time? You don't scold them. You stop being available. Someone breaks trust? You don't relive the history. You remember and adjust. No drama. No explanation. Just distance. That's how standards actually work. Silently. Consistently. Without apology. Threats are weak because they reveal dependence. They say, I need you to change. Standards say, I change how I engage. You're not trying to control anyone. You're controlling your own behavior. And people notice. They may not say anything, but they feel the shift. They learn. If I act careless, access disappears. If I cross lines, warmth fades. If I disrespect, I lose proximity. That realization changes behavior faster than any argument ever could. Here's what most people miss. When you announce your standards, you give people a manual on how to manipulate you. They learn what words to say, what apologies to fake, what promises to make. But when your standards are unspoken, they can't game the system. They don't know the rules, only the consequences. And uncertainty keeps people cautious. That's power. Stop explaining who you are. Start moving like it. Stop telling people what you won't accept. Simply stop accepting it. Your silence will do what your words never could. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My actions set the standard. Lesson 6. Know when to disappear. Your value doesn't only come from presence. It often comes from absence. Not permanent absence, strategic absence. When you're always available, always responsive, always present, people stop noticing you. You blend into the background. Your attention becomes expected, and expectation kills value. Machiavelli understood this well. What is rare is valued. What is constant is ignored. Think about how people react when someone suddenly pulls back. Questions appear. Curiosity builds. Attention shifts. Not because you demanded it, but because scarcity activates respect. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding human nature. Attention is currency. And anything given endlessly loses worth. When you respond instantly every time, people assume you will. Your time becomes guaranteed, and guarantees remove urgency. But when you become selective, your presence changes meaning. This applies everywhere. At work. In relationships. In social circles. Those who are always available are often liked, but rarely valued. Those who know when to step back quietly shape the room. Strategic disappearance looks simple. You don't respond to everything immediately. You don't attend everything automatically. You don't offer access without intention. You still show up, but only where it matters. Maybe you used to reply within minutes. Now you reply when it makes sense. Maybe you used to attend every gathering. Now you choose the ones aligned with your priorities. Not from arrogance. From self-respect. At first, people notice the shift. Then they start adjusting. Your time suddenly matters. Your attention feels earned. Your presence carries weight. The human mind desires what isn't always available. Availability creates familiarity. Selectivity creates interest. When you disappear at the right moments, people remember your value. So show up fully when it counts. Pull back when it doesn't. Let absence do the talking. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence increases my value. Lesson 7. Practice calculated kindness. Kindness is powerful, but only when it's intentional. Uncontrolled kindness isn't virtue. It's vulnerability. When you're kind to everyone, all the time, without limits, you're not respected, you're used. Your behavior becomes predictable, and predictability invites exploitation. Machiavelli understood this balance clearly. Love without fear creates entitlement. Fear without warmth creates rebellion. Power lives in uncertainty. Most people confuse kindness with constant agreement. They say yes when they should pause. They help when they should evaluate. They apologize when they've done nothing wrong. That isn't generosity. That's fear of rejection. Calculated kindness works differently. It's selective. It's earned. And when it's given, it's meaningful. When people know your kindness isn't automatic, it carries weight. Think about it. If someone knows you'll always help, no matter how they treat you, your help becomes expected, not appreciated. But when kindness appears unexpectedly, people value it more. That unpredictability creates respect. Here's how this looks in real life. Two people ask you for help. One has consistently shown loyalty, respect, and effort. The other only appears when they need something. Most people help both, and quietly resent it later. The strategic individual doesn't. They help the first person fully, without hesitation. Because that relationship is built on mutual respect. The second person receives a polite refusal or limited support. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. Access is earned. Over time, people learn. Respect brings generosity. Entitlement brings distance. That lesson doesn't need explanation. It's taught through action. Calculated kindness isn't cold. You're still respectful. You're still calm. But you're no longer easily exploited. When someone asks for something, you pause. You decide whether they've earned your time and energy. If they have, you show up strongly. If they haven't, you decline without guilt or justification. No long explanations. No apologies. That restraint builds authority. Your kindness becomes valuable because it's not guaranteed. And valuable things are never given away carelessly. Stop being nice out of fear of being disliked. Stop over-explaining your generosity. Stop apologizing for protecting your boundaries. Be kind with purpose. Be generous with intention. Be selective without shame. That's how kindness becomes influence, not weakness. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My kindness is intentional. Those were the 7 shifts. Not tricks. Not manipulation. Principles. When applied consistently, something changes. People stop testing you. They stop draining you. They stop overlooking you. Not because you demanded respect, but because your behavior made it unavoidable. This is the Machiavellian truth most people resist. Power doesn't announce itself. It's felt. Some will say this way of thinking is cold. Others will call it manipulative. But ask yourself this honestly. Is it manipulation to protect your time? Is it cruelty to stop being used? Is it wrong to be intentional with your energy? No. That's called self-respect. The world will take everything you give. Your attention, your kindness, your effort. And still ask for more. These principles aren't about hurting others. They're about stopping yourself from being weakened. Because intelligence without influence is wasted potential. You can be the sharpest mind in the room. But if no one listens, if no one respects your boundaries, if no one values your presence, what does it matter? Real power isn't loud. It isn't aggressive. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It moves quietly. It calculates. It waits. And when it acts, it lands. If this resonated with you, engage with it. Support the message. Share it with someone who's intelligent but overlooked. And if you're not subscribed yet, understand this. We're just getting started. We're diving deeper into power, influence, human nature. And the rules most people pretend don't exist. Drop the affirmation that hit you hardest in the comments. Tell me which lesson shifted your perspective. And remember this. Intelligence is common. Influence is rare. Be rare. Stop explaining. Stop reacting. Start moving with intention. I'll see you next time.